Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now a pleasant part of the evening for me to introduce you to your new chairman, Mr. Stuart Day.
Thank you. Firstly, I'd like to say how excited I am of the opportunity that we've got with this brilliant club. And I'd like to say thank you to the supporters for the messages that I've received since taking over at the club, because it's been humbling to see how many of you have been so positive with what we're looking to try and do. We've worked extremely hard, and again, the one thing that I'd like to do before I get going is to thank Neville, really, because if you hadn't been here, he certainly was the catalyst to making us invest. The problem he did take us to Manchester United, which wasn't the best thing for me. So, but we're so excited about getting involved in this, and one thing that we've looked at, I know there's been different rumours about what we're looking to do, and I wanted to reassure everybody, we are here for the long term, if you'll have us, that is. We've got plans of what we want to put in place, we've got a vision as to what we want to try and achieve. I sat down with Kevin. We were supposed to have a half-an-hour chat, I think, intended to 4.5 hours. I did tell him to keep quiet a few times, but you know, when you bought the club. The situation was that the passion that we saw within Kevin and the passion that we saw within the staff was superb. You know, you've got fantastic assets in this football club, like Jill as well, who's been here for such a long time, and it's testament to here in terms of how things are run with the club, and the staff is so positive in wanting to be part of such a great club and a great history. We've worked tirelessly doing our due diligence in taking over this club, and there was a few changes that we had to make at the 11th hour, as Neville's touched on, because the way that we wanted to take over, we couldn't do it for one or two reasons, and we just couldn't let this football club go to waste, really. It was that close to the winding up order being actually implemented. I'm pleased to say that as of today, the club has no debts. HMRC is paid off. We're out of the transfer embargo. The staff wages and the players' wages, as Neville's touched on, that was a really important part for me, because I can't have people coming to work and giving 100% of everything all the way through, and at the end of the month not knowing if they're going to get paid. So the one thing that we tried to implement was to make sure that the staff was 100% secure and they knew that they were going to get paid. We sat down with the manager, and he, as I said, he gave some great ideas of what he wanted to do, and I could see from his passion of what he wanted to succeed, and I think he's got a bit of a point that he wanted to prove with this club. And when we had that enthusiasm, it was the same enthusiasm that we had, and we met at a hotel in Walsall one Saturday morning at 8 o'clock to talk about other ideas, and again that was supposed to be a 2-hour meeting, it turned into a 5-hour meeting, and we're just so enthused about what we've got here. And the biggest thing for me this moment in time is I want to bring football back to the fans. I got extremely frustrated. I watched a lot of football over the years, and I got extremely frustrated at certain ticket pricing last season, where I was getting charged £36 to £40 a ticket to go watch a game of football, which I think is ridiculous. So the first idea that I had was to change the season tickets and slash them down to make football more affordable. That's something that's not just for this season. We will be looking to implement that season upon season. But we need the support of the fans. We need the backing of the fans. Because it's pointless to slashing the season ticket prices if we're only going to get low attendances. We need to try and get better attendances coming through. We want to make things fun. You know, we're hoping we're going to win every game, but it's not going to be every game that we're going to win. But we want to make it a fun time for when you come down. We want you to come down and enjoy the experience. And even if we do get beat, you know that the players are giving 110%. The biggest thing that me and the manager have sat down, everything that he's talked about there, we wanted to implement. The scouting system we've done, and it's touched upon. I think if some of you saw it yesterday, Sky Sports was down here yesterday filming the club. They saw the trialists down here. It was like the UN down here. Kevin had more people on Liverpool Airport and Manchester Airport and Leeds Bradford Airport on Sunday night collecting players with Bury FC signs up than anybody else. So it was a the thing that we're trying to do is create something special and people to be proud of this football club. People to be proud to wear the shirt. People to want to support us. People to want to come and play for us. And if players don't want to come and play for us, me and Kevin had the chat, they'll be gone. We want people that want to be committed to the Bury Football Club. And if they want to go somewhere else, fine, we'll make that decision and go. But the decision has to be right for this football club. It's not going on the players' terms, it's going on this club's terms. So everything that we're trying to implement here is for the longevity. Because when I sat down with Kevin and we said, listen, this is what the ideas are about, what we've got about running a football club. We want to run this football club as if it's a championship club off the pitch. As Kevin touched upon it, the first thing he said, he got some building plans out saying, this is a gymnasium I want to build. This is what I want to do. So straight away, as Kevin said, his manager's office is very important because you bring players into that manager's office and it's about the profile of the club. The manager's office, the same chairs were there, I think, when he was here 13 years ago.
I tricked out because I left and I tricked out on the way in the same blue bloody chair.
So while Kevin was on holiday, we made an effort to change the reception area, to change the manager's office, to start knocking down walls. We've now, you'll have probably seen the images, we've now changed the function suites around. We're now changing the press offices and changing other rooms as well, so that people can come and have pride in Bury Football. I'm a massive football fan. I'll go watch any game of football. And people have said, you know, you might have seen it on the radio that I was on the other day, why Bury? This history of Bury is incredible. And when we'd seen the advertisement of the money needed to go into the club, we couldn't let this club fail. And there was a time, and I'll be honest with you, as I always will be, there was 2 or 3 times we nearly walked away. And it was only because of Neville that we didn't. He kept on coming back to us because the figures would change daily in terms of what was going on with his club. And Neville said, you know, unfortunately the club's been built on sand a little bit over the last few years. It keeps on going back into the same situation. And what we wanted to do is implement things where it was built on solid foundations, so everybody knew their job and role and responsibility. And we wanted to create something with the staff and make sure that they have the pride in wanting to come in and work for this football club. And the biggest thing for me is I'm so excited about what we're going to do, and there's so many ideas that you'll get. You know, I know people will want to know about player recruitment as well, and that's a big thing. You know, we've got a 5-a-side team at the moment, and that's as it is. And please, me and Kevin talk daily in terms of it. But the one thing we don't want to do is rush in and sign a player who then doesn't come in and fit the credentials that we put on that screen today. They've got to, first and foremost, they've got to want to play for us. They've got to want to give us 110% in training, in their attitude when they're not at the club as well, because they are representing Bury Football Club. So everything that we're trying to put together is, we've done a lot of the work on the player recruitment, and over the next 2 to 3 weeks you will see some, hopefully you'll be pleased with the signings that we're looking to bring in. But the signings that we're looking at, these are signings that a lot of other clubs are looking at. These are signings that top clubs are looking at as well, League One, Championship clubs. So we're setting our targets right into the right sort of player. And when a player comes in to look at us, Kevin sits down and says, right, this is the reason why we want to buy this player. This is the reason what he's going to do for the club. So everything that we're trying to put in is we have a plan. We have a plan as to what we want to try and deliver with this club. Hopefully we'll be in the Champions League in 3 years' time. But the biggest thing for me is, if you can support me, I'll tell you, I'll give you 120%. And that's what I can promise you. You'll get the hardest working person here. And it's very unusual, as I keep on being told, for a chairman to be in the club daily. I'm in here probably the first and the last to go out, because I want to see the runnings of the club and change things around for the better. And that's what I want to try and deliver. I'll give you everything I've got, and hopefully a bit more besides, and hopefully we'll get this club back to where we want it to be. So thank you for your support.
Tell by these 4 and 5 hour meetings with the manager, they drink a lot as well. No, seriously. Just just one more quick thing. I'm going to ask Ian just to stand up and introduce himself and just say a few words to you. Then you just get to know Ian, what his role's going to be in football.
I can really sort of endorse a lot of what's been said by how hard working the chair is and the chief exec. You know, it's not unusual for us to be in at 8 o'clock in the morning and not going home until 8 o'clock at night. And we have been slightly frustrated in the messages that have been coming out from the club that people want to see us, want to talk to us. Because every time we talk to somebody, that creates another 10 jobs and stops us doing what we really need to do. So we have been a little bit insular on that, and we'd apologise for that, but it will get better. Because you've got a press officer who works absolutely 1000%. I've never seen as many twits coming out of the Twitter. I'm going to send him on a spelling course next week, but my job in the club really is the slightly boring bit, and that is really to have a look at a lot of the systems and the processes that go on and tighten things up a little bit. That's not been detrimental to the staff who've been there already. They've been faced with awful lots of challenges, with no money in the pocket to do things. But if I was to say to you that while all this trouble's been going on, in Bury Football Club you've had a light that's been on for 8 years and nobody knows where to turn it off, I wouldn't be lying. If you speak to Michael, the groundsman, there's a light in there that burns in his back office and nobody knows where to turn it off. Unbelievable. We've got an energy bill of £80,000 a year. And that £80,000, we've had a conversation today with a company to start putting LED lights in, to put movement sensors in, because when we go in at 8 o'clock in the morning and turn the lights on in the toilets for the directors, they're still on at 8 o'clock on the night when we go out, and we've only been in there twice because the chairman chases us out otherwise. That's the sort of thing that I'm bringing to the table. I think I've also can add that the last couple of years, 2 to 3 years, I've been working very closely with Huddersfield Town, developing their training complex. So there's 6 brand new training fields down there, there's a synthetic pitch, there's a bar area down there, in a social club, and that's part of why I was brought on board, because I've got the skill as well in the gym side of the business. We've got a building like this, and I know I'm jumping back, but Huddersfield have got a building a bit like this. This is losing £50,000 a year, this particular building. Somebody's got to turn that round or you get back on that slippery slope. So it's my job to be the Grim Reaper and start pushing, poking and prodding and trying to bring those things back up to speed, get them a bit more economical, making sure that next year that the programme that you all receive, that you pay £3 for currently, last year that programme only made a profit on 3 matches. 3 games that profit made the programme, so we've already identified the price will probably go up slightly, but that's not a big issue. In fact, the season tickets have come down so much. I think the other thing that we're looking at, and Perry will talk a little bit, not Perry, Glenn will talk a little bit more about this, but it's the commercial side of things. We're looking at it. When we first got into the club, we thought that Comsure was your main sponsor, because nearly everything was done for a couple of tickets here and a couple of tickets there, and most of those advertising hoardings around the pitch were all being given away because somebody did the electrical testing, so they got the board up. And that's why we brought in Perry, who's really added value to the club despite some of the criticism that he whined around. I'll let Glenn talk a little bit more about that in his little section. But overall, very quickly, just on a positive note, in the last 4 weeks, I think Perry, myself, the chair and the chief exec have brought nearly £100,000 worth of additional income into this club on 20,000 plus worth of gym equipment, on deals that we're signing with Mercedes and people like that, so that we've got cars for the staff to be ferried around and so on and so forth. But a lot of that credit goes to Perry rather than just me. That I think I would like to take it back.
Football Club's new chief executive, Glenn Thomas.
Without going over what everybody's already said, we was very, very impressed with the way that the staff and everybody approached us coming into the club. What we saw initially on day one, there's so many entities within the club, like we've got the community programme, we've got the youth, we've got the Forever Very team, and everybody had a vision that they wanted to keep Bury alive, but everybody was working independently. What we've got to do is bring everybody together. That's the fans, the community programme, like I said, Forever Bury, and make sure that this club does move forward as one. Because without that stadium open, then basically everything else just disappears. But the enthusiasm that we've got between us and everything is the fact that the most important thing is to move forward and create new opportunities for everybody. There's things moving forward where we're going to bring ladies soccer down to, sorry, football, that's my American bit, ladies football back and create new things there. Obviously we want to improve disabled facilities. We're improving the facilities on a daily basis. What we need to do is on the commercial side, obviously we brought in a consultant which has got a lot of stick at the moment, and he was brought in for a reason. The reason is we do not have a lot of time to turn this club around before the season starts. We brought in our opinion, the best team that we can for this club. Perry's background is basically, prior to the Port Vale incident, we was recommended to speak to him for the work he did at Birmingham, Karen Brady, with Derby, with Trevor Birch, with the Cricket Association. And if you actually look, there's none of them clubs or anything that's created an issue. So what we've actually done, his role, so everybody knows, is to consult the club on the current situation so we can bring forward the momentum of the club. If anybody who's got an issue would like to talk about that, by all means bring it up with me afterwards and gladly open up the floor, that's not a problem. But moving forward, like I said, and echoing everybody's comments, it's a superb club, it's got superb opportunities, and please be that bit more patient and you'll see exactly what's going to happen on the field and off the field. And hopefully it'll be a lot more enjoyable experience for everybody. But thank you for your support, it's been amazing. The fans coming up to us on a daily basis. So if we can keep that up, then Bury Football Club will be exciting for the future. But thank you very much.